Good morning, you beautiful people. I have patients ask me all the time about StretchLab, okay, or like these stretching places that will go and stretch you out. Here's what's fascinating, okay? I encourage anybody who's encouraging movement, continue to encourage people to move. And if it works for you, it works for you. I have no problem with these places. It's a great business model. Great business model. Get you on a membership, tell you have to come here, you go, you feel great after. Cool. Great business model. Is it the right thing for you and your health? I wouldn't send my family members there. I don't send my patients there for two reasons. Number one, the changes that they're making in that tissue, in your muscles and your tendons and your ligaments, are very transient. Very transient. They don't last. And the reason they don't last is because those tissues are so pliable. That's why it doesn't last. Because as easily as they stretch, they go back to being short. The key, and at least for now, the key to mobility, which I always say is the fountain of youth. It's not stretching, it's not flexibility, it's mobility. The key to mobility is every joint, every place that two bones connect in our body. That's called a joint. Okay? Every joint has what we call a capsule. It's basically like a balloon that surrounds where those two bones meet each other. Okay? And then around that capsule are where all of your muscles connect to other things. Okay? The joint capsule is the thing that improves or reduces your mobility. Okay? So where those two bones meet, if this is your knee, okay, your knee bends like this, right? It bends like this or bends like this. This is your knee. It's surrounded by this little water balloon looking thing. Okay? And your quads are up here, and your hamstrings are back here, and a whole bunch of little muscles in between there. Okay? Your quads have to stretch. Okay? When you do this, your hamstrings have to stretch when you straighten. Okay? But the joint capsule has to move. Has to. If we suctioned and we squeezed that water balloon so that this couldn't move, it wouldn't matter how much your quads or hamstrings could go. It's not going to matter. You need the joint capsule to open and close and move as you need to move. So right now, physical therapists, maybe chiropractors, I don't know their scope of practice, physical therapists are the only ones legally allowed to perform that manipulation. I don't even think your physicians can perform that manipulation. Okay? And basically all we do, it doesn't feel like much. All we do is we pull a little bit and we move it a little bit. Okay? And that real gentle pulling and moving allows fluid to get into the area, allows stimulation of different cells that say, hey, grow more collagen in here, right? We need synovial fluid. We need the stuff that makes the joint slippery. Okay? That's like StretchLab, fine. Go ahead. Do it. I don't really care. But when I get folks in here who need that mobility work, that is what we do to them. And I need a license to practice that. I should need a license to practice that. That can be really freaking dangerous. You need people who know what the heck they're doing. Okay? And I don't know. I just felt compelled to talk about this because I get asked it a lot, and it's coming up. And I've always say, and I think I always will until I'm proven wrong, that the fountain of youth is 51% mobility and 49% strength. Right? People say like, oh, I got to get more flexible. That's not true. You need to maintain your mobility. That's what you really mean. You think you need to get more flexible. You don't know what you don't know. You need to maintain your mobility. And if you don't have that mobility, you need to improve it. And that's such the cool thing is that you can. You can. You have to stimulate it. You have to use it in order to gain it, right? If you don't use it, you lose it. So you have to stimulate the growth factors, right? And that's all you do. And listen, you don't need me to do that. There are ways. There are plenty of videos out there on YouTube of like self-mobilization techniques. That's the stuff you need. You don't need to stretch more. The stretching isn't really going to make a difference in the long term. It's the mobility work will. The mobility work will. And that's the key. That's the key. Now, the other thing I always say is if all my patients did yoga, I wouldn't have any patients. That I stand by. That is absolutely true. If all my patients did yoga, I wouldn't have any patients. Because yoga helps us stretch, yes, and mobilize. I was doing yoga this morning, and I stopped it because the positions were too static for me. I was getting a stretch of my muscle, but what I know I need in certain areas is mobilization of my hips. Everybody needs mobilization of their hips. So I do my mobility work, and I know how to do that because I teach it, right? I've done it, and I understand the anatomy that we need to do that. So if all my patients did yoga, I'd have no patience, because yoga helps us stretch and stay mobile. However, with a caveat, yoga doesn't always hit the second part of the fountain of youth, which is the strength component. And I've always said this, it doesn't do us any good if we can lift 1,200 pounds through this range of motion. We need a full range of motion to be functional, and then we need to get strong in that range of motion, right? So yoga, God almighty, there are some strong freaking yogis out there. But we need to increase the bone density of these people, right? If all my patients did yoga, I'd have no patience until they're in their 90s. And they go to lift something heavy and they can't quite do that. Right now, listen, most of my patients are in their 60s and 70s. I'd love to have a caseload of patients in their 90s who I just had to get stronger. But it's people in their 60s and 70s who lost their mobility in their 40s and 50s. Those are the people who need our help. Okay? So work on your mobility. I have, 100 YouTube videos out there right now. 5 minutes mobility, do them every day. I have given them to every patient who walks in the door. I don't care what we're treating. I'm like, even if I never help your shoulder problem or your neck issue or your neuropathy, this will improve your life. It is the equivalent of brushing your teeth, right? And like, you can't not brush, if you didn't brush your teeth for 5 years, okay, and you woke up one morning and you're like, my mouth hurts or my breath stinks, and you go to your dentist, they're going to say, what have you been doing the last 5 years? Right? Oh, well, I didn't brush my teeth. I didn't think it was that important. Well, I brush them once in a while. Right? I use the mouthwash once in a while, right? That's the equivalent of like, I used to go to a yoga class, or like, sometimes I swim. No, you have to do it every single day. You have to, if you want to stay strong and independent every day until the day you die. Okay? That's the other motto that I like to live by, is like, live long, die fast. Live long, die fast. Don't sign me up for a 20-year chronic disease. Don't want to do that. I would like to live until however long God gives me. And then the day I can't get up and down off the ground, die the next day. Right? Because those are the places and quality of life that I want to be the example for my own family. I appreciate you. Thank you for sharing your energy with me today. Spending your time and attention. They are your greatest resources. I appreciate you. Keep moving. Keep getting better every day.